Hey everyone, welcome back to Tactical Magic. This is Molly Mandelberg, your host, and I am pleased to bring you one of the more magical people that I have met in my life. Mellissa Seaman is an amazing leader and a spiritual intuitive guide, and I will tell you more about her in a moment, but she's also has a brilliant quiz that will support you to discover your soul gift. So stay tuned, we'll be back in just a second. It's not just about mastering technology. It's not just about brand or messaging. It's not just about making more money. It's about showing up in a big way so your people can find you. This is about bringing your most wild and authentic self into the hustle and grind. Welcome to Tactical Magic, a business strategies podcast for the warrior goddess entrepreneur. Okay, Mellissa was a Stanford-educated business lawyer until her intuitive abilities awakened in the year 2000 with the birth of her daughter. Now she bridges the worlds of business strategy and intuitive intelligence. Creative designers, Fortune 500 executives, and thought leaders hire her to teach them how to channel their genius, to create on demand, to stay in their flow state, and to create lucrative businesses that follow their soul's calling. Welcome to the show, Mellissa.
Oh, thanks, Molly. So sweet to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm stoked to have you here. So I'm sure the first question on most people's mind is, what was that intuitive awakening and how'd that go for you?
Oh my God. It's funny because Clarice, my daughter, just turned 21. So I just did like a weekend of bar hopping and like all the 21-year-old things with her. So it's really on my mind right now that it's been 21 years since that happened. But it was so trippy because the first birth with Colin was like a normal, natural ow birth. And then with Clarice, it was like this, like really fast, really painless, very pleasurable whoosh experience, which that was such a pleasant surprise. But then afterwards, I was kind of psychic, and I hadn't believed in that previously. Like I really didn't believe in astrology or psychic-y stuff. And so suddenly I was like, oh, hey, like seeing spirit guides and talking to dead people. I was like, crap, I think this stuff might be real, or I'm going crazy. So I went to like this very conservative psychologist who like ran me through the paces, and she's like, actually, you're not crazy. You're having some kind of an intuitive awakening. And I was like, I'll be damned. I'm one of those woo people. And so it really actually, it was pretty rough at first, because all my friends were Catholic, and my whole ego was wrapped up in being a lawyer and being sane. And suddenly I was like one of the people that I'd always judged. And I was like, my friends and my husband and my parents, like everybody was, what is up with you? It was rough, honestly. And I like ran away to live naked in the forest at Harbin for like 7 years. I had just lived naked in the forest with the other hippies and like traded sessions. And then eventually I got kind of bored. I was like, I kind of miss business. I kind of miss like relevance in the world of the economy. And in 2008 and all this crap happened. You know how it is, like life just kept shifting me up and then landed me back in San Diego with my tail between my legs. And that's when I started working with Thrive with Jesse and Charla, who I had known from Harbin like 8 years ago. Like that's when you and I met, sometime around there, when we were studying with Thrive. And I was like, I shouldn't have to study business. I'm such an important former lawyer. And then I was like, wow, I don't know any of this stuff. And the spiritual part of me was so resistant to, choosing a niche and like identifying who my people would be and talking sense about what I do. Like I was so resistant, just like my clients are now, usually resistant, because you and I both tend to work with like spiritually inspired women who are badasses and woo, like got some woo, either secretly or surfacely got some woo. And yeah, I pulled all the same stunts, that my clients now complain about when they come to my academy wanting to learn to do a business that fits.
Yeah. I recently went to Harbin Hot Springs. This is their plug. I went for the first time and it was magical and wonderful. And I was just imagining all the stories that I'd heard of, living.
I literally lived there for a while when it was a community, and now it's different. It's more like a resort. It's beautiful. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Hippie naked hot springs. What's not to love? Yeah, it is. It's magical land. And of course it all burned like 6 years ago now. 6 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all, but that's back and they rebuilt and phew. Yeah. All these different chapters of our lives, right? Like
Totally. Yeah. And I think, I mean, whether most people listening to this probably aren't lawyers judging the woo, there's probably a lot of people on here who are already on the woo end of the spectrum. And I think
yay.
what's beautiful is to recognize that I've seen so many funny memes about this recently that are just coming to mind, that you think the spiritual awakening is going to be this like blooming, like
Right.
beautiful experience. And in reality, it's like you're getting slapped in the face by what you know and what reality is trying to tell you is true. And those things often don't line up, because what's true in your heart and what your reality really is often doesn't match up with the status quo or the common like awareness.
Right.
And that you're going to be constantly challenged in that, because this reality is trying to limit us. And that's why we've been programmed with limitation. And I think that's one of the most important things, if you are on the woo end of the spectrum, to find mentorship with people who get you and who get the magic, because you get to run a powerful, badass business and rock at those normal linear things. And it's so much more fun when you do it from a magical and intuitive place. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And don't you notice working with our peeps how, like, unless if you're a magical person and you're really called by your spirit to do a thing, you damn well better do it, or else your spirit will sabotage you. Like, you can't just go sell out. Like, you can't. Your spirit's like, no, you know what you're supposed to be doing. And it can be so torturous to recognize, like, shoot, I got to learn how to balance these worlds, because I can't just give free sessions either, because I need to feed my family. Like, I don't want to work at Starbucks while I give free sessions. I want nothing that, not that there's anything wrong with working at Starbucks. It's a good company, apparently. But still, like, when that's what I find about our, you know, because our work is similar. Like, we both really love to bring strategy to deeply creative, spiritual people who want to do what they came here to do, and find it super fulfilling, as I'm sure you do, like to see people who were kind of doing it as if it's a hobby, and then to really embrace it and create systems and like identify the strategy that can make it work, that can bring their work to the world in a world that needs it so much right now. So much.
Yeah, so much. I like that you brought up the drama with the niche too, because one of the things about having gifts and having intuitive like capacities and the ability to heal or to help people heal is you want to do it for everyone. You want to spread the wealth of that magic. And it's a lot more challenging to scale and grow and scale a business if you're not willing to get specific about who and how you help people.
It's
so
like the magic key. It's like so the magic key.
And you used to call yourself a niche witch, which I don't know if you still.
Yes, I do. I proudly now claim that. You know, what's funny is Jesse Corin was trying to get me to choose the niche as my niche, like freaking, oh my God, 15 years ago. And I just fought it. I'm like, no, I'm not a business strategist. I'm a powerful shamanic facilitator. He's like, yeah, Mellissa, I know, but like, you got to show people how to use you, you know, you got to show them how you're relevant. I'm like, I don't need to show anybody anything. And I was all hoity toity. And then, well, really, I mean, 2008 and the economic collapse nailed me, and the whole $1 million project I was working on collapsed and like left me so humbled. And then I finally came around and I was like, well, I wonder if this would really work for me, if I really could use my ability, my intuitive ability and my lawyer strategy mind together to help people identify the perfect niche. And I started doing it. And Jesse did not say I told you so, because he's nice.
He's very nice. Totally, about that. Yeah.
He totally coulda. And then pretty soon, all through the Thrive people, right? I'm like, oh yeah, Mellissa, the niche witch. And I'm like, yes, I am, because that remains like one of the main things that I do is, especially for people who are like such Renaissance people who have so many different interests and so many different things that they could do for so many different people. I talk to their spirit guides, and then I talk to their personality, and then I know what I know about the market, and then kind of triangulate it, and like, this is your niche, like start here and welcome these people in, and then yes, they will do your deeper work, I promise.
Yeah.
But like finding that initial offering and how to position yourself in the marketplace with your expertise so that people are scrambling to work with you, that is, I love that moment because it's such a turning point, as you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you said
I know you work
start
with that
here.
too. It's like finding that.
Yeah. I love that you said
It's just the first,
here.
like it's the door on your temple.
Yeah.
Nobody can get into your temple if there's no door, or if there's just like open air, they're wandering through your temple all the time, but they're not going to pay you. So there has to be like a door with a sign on the front that's like something yummy sounding, and then shoop, 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 and then they go deeper, deeper, deeper.
Yeah. And I mean, for those of us who have a hard time at first figuring out what that niche is, it's often something that evolves. So it's like you start with this thing like that a beautiful niche witch can deliver to you, or that you land on is like, this is good enough for now. This is
Right.
good enough for now. And as you start walking that path, you might notice that it's slightly out of alignment. And so then you shift or tilt or pivot or take a step, slightly turn to the right or the left or whatever. And it becomes more aligned.
Yes.
Like it starts to amalgamate itself. And that could be a big 180 degree of like, oh no, I went this direction and I'm actually really clear now. I should have been going this way the whole time. So I'm moving there now. Or sometimes it can be a slight little tilt of like, just the way you phrase what you're talking about will attract a slightly different group of people that are really your soulmate clients, and that being willing to adjust as you go along instead of waiting for that clarity, because clarity actually comes when you start trying it and showing up and broadcasting that message, whatever it is, good enough for now. Yeah,
it's true. We talk about that a lot in the academy, like try it on the humans, Like you can't just think it up in your head and create your whole business inside your head and then expect humans to purchase it. Like you have to keep trying it out on the humans. But
yeah.
And then there's also aspects of choosing a niche that are so strategic, as you know, because I know you do a lot of work helping people design funnels.
Yeah.
And like a funnel, some people get freaked out by the word funnels, like sensitive spiritual people are like, oh, it sounds too strategic, but it's really just a compassionate communication. Like you're identifying your person and you're helping guide them, take their hand through your stuff to really understand what you've got for them. And the niche has to be strategic. So I'm constantly like talking to, wide gifted spiritual people about like, yes, I know you're going to serve them for years. You're going to serve them with all kinds of stuff, but like, choose that thing that's at the very beginning of their journey that you want to take them on. That's like just the niggling problem that they really want to just spend some money, even on a stranger like you, to solve. And it's like, sometimes it's hard to find for yourself. That's why they hire someone like you or me, is to like, I know I need to go to my mentors to have them go, no, Mellissa, it's here, because I can't see my own stuff. I can see everybody else's. So we all need help once in a while. And then you're right. It's an evolution. And even if you have a starter niche, as like, I don't know, when I do like a VIP day with someone, and you probably have a similar process, like we plan out not just what you're going to do in the first year, but where is this going? Mm-hmm. Because a lot of spiritual people, they see where they're supposed to be in 20 years, clear as day. Oh, I'm speaking to thousands of people. Yes, you are. But there's like this whole, there's some phases between here and there. And like, there's a niche here that lays the foundation. And then you're probably this niche might come next, so that you can build this next, and then this niche. And so looking at it like a long strategic pathway of your business development, instead of just like thinking that you're going to choose a niche that you'll have for the rest of your life that'll never change. That's not how business is, right? It's like evolutionary.
Yeah. And we grow and expand as people. So of course what we're offering is going to continue.
Yeah. And God forbid we get bored. Like, God forbid we write one book on one topic and just have to teach that the rest of our lives. We're channels. We like get new downloads all the time. And
yeah. So one of the first things I ever heard out of you was, before I ever took your quiz, I heard you talk about the 5 archetypes that are part of the soul gift quiz. And
oh, cool.
As a quiz geek myself, I think it would be fun to talk about that a little bit. And first off, I just like to remember, I think I'm the creator, but what are the
I know you are. I'm sure you're a creator. I imagine you're a creator with a transmitter secondary. That would be my guess for you.
Probably true. Yeah.
So, and that's because the creator is a systems person. Like, you really get systems. You really understand how the pieces work together. That's why you're such a brilliant like funnel maker. That's why you can teach people how to build a quiz. Like you understand the system under the quiz, you know? And then you're also a sensitive and an empath and like a connected person. And that's the transmitter. So I've got the creators are the ones who, even from the time they're a kid, like as a soul, this is my belief with this system, is like as a soul, you're like one of the creators. Like you were probably here when this whole place got put together. So as you like look around the world, you're like, oh yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that. And you're kind of like, why don't other people get it? Why don't they just see that? Like I just see it. Like the guy in the Matrix who sees the code on the screen and he's like, oh, redhead, blonde. And everybody else is like, what are you talking about? Like that's you creators, or just you just got that. And so we should listen to you creators and get your support when we need to build a system. It's like And then the transmitter aspect of you, and I know that we both have transmitter secondaries. In other words, transmitter is probably your second soul gift, is the magic one, is the like transmitters who have that as their primary soul gift. Their soul is literally here to emanate a certain energy. Transmitters are not here to build a system or transmit a message, or like they're not here to filter evidence or data. Transmitters are just here as souls to emanate their unique wah, 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 in the world that brings evolution and healing. And so these are generally like our natural woo folk, our deep empaths and sensitives. And it's cool because you and I are both business strategists who specialize in working with transmitters, who specialize in work with people who have this emanation to bring the world. And it's because even though I'm a messenger, which I'll tell you about in a minute, and you're a creator, we get it that the transmitters are the ones, if we could just light these people up and make sure they make great money and get like weekly massage and eat organic and keep from going bonkers, that they will freaking evolve the planet. It's like, we want that for the world. So, yeah, so sorry, transmitters, you it's not always easy to do business as a transmitter. Something deep inside you actually resents the fact that you have to frickin' work at all, because you're giving your gift in the world 24/7, no matter what you're doing. And you're like, really? You also want me to have a job? Are you people crazy? Don't you know I need more self-care? I need more rest. I need to drink better quality water. Like, I'm a freaking diva. You have to take care of me so that I can emanate my juju. And dude, this culture doesn't get that. And so you and I are both allies to those folks. You know, you bringing your intrinsic systems wisdom as a creator, and me bringing my intrinsic ability to translate spirit into the perfect words, the perfect copy, the perfect specific niche, that sort of thing is like what I do, right? That they can't do for themselves. I can actually put words to their emanation. So now we're getting into the messenger part, which is what I just said, like the translator, the teacher who puts things to words, who can teach, translate, writing. You've got some messenger in you too. I know you're really good with words. So a lot of us though, like we start off as one thing and then we're sort of trained to be something else. So like when I went to law school, I was kind of a fish out of water because I don't really like systems that much, but I got good at them because I was trained into them. A lot of people, especially the transmitter types, are like forced to study systems or speaking or something because people are trying to make them be one of the more tangible things. And part of what I love about the soul gift quiz and all the quiz work is that it helps you identify parts of yourself that you wouldn't otherwise really acknowledge. You know?
I think that's
so what else?
A well-built quiz too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That people feel trained by it.
That's what's so cool. People take the quiz and they write me thank you notes and they're like, I'm in tears because I just took your quiz. And I'm like, man, that is cool because I haven't talked to this person. Like they just took my little quiz and they're in tears. That is rad. That lights me up.
Yeah.
The other two types are the researcher, which the researcher peeps, they see facts, they see evidence, they see it exactly as it is. They don't get all emotional like the other types do. They love gaming and like being inside of worlds that make sense, because this world is chaotic and nutsball and people are crazy pants. And then there's the explorers, who are the adventurers, who are just always pushing the limits and living on the edge and trying out new ways of doing things and showing us all how to expand beyond what we think is possible. So those are the 5 types. And, you know, it's kind of part of the first, for me, it's like the first step when people come to me and are like, am I doing the right business? I'm like, well, what soul gift type are you really? And people are often surprised when they take the quiz. They realize like, oh crap, like I am a transmitter, I am an explorer, but all my life they've been trying to get me to be a messenger, you know, or vice versa. It's the first light to shine for me on like, which niche should I do? You know, it's like, well, what's your real gift? Don't pick a niche that's trying to be something that you're not. It's hard. When you pick what's totally your deal, so much easier.
So much easier. And like it brings so much more awareness to recognize what your gifts are. And like you said, you can learn the systems if you need them, but to start acknowledging what your innate capacity is, and it's like what your innate contribution is to this.
Yes.
To start owning that allows that to expand, and it becomes, you know, the dominant energy that you live with, which is so much more fun than trying to box yourself into something that just isn't you.
Totally. And it also shows you where you need help. You know, if you recognize, wow, I am a magical, mystical person and systems give me the hives, then get yourself a creator on your team to make sure that they can help you through those systems, like walk you through it. You know, that's like, you know, your programs, I know some of them are like that level. And then also, if you recognize, like, because creators are also really good with money, by the way, because money is a system. And I heard that you're offering like a new training on like the system, like the esoteric system underneath money, which I think is so freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So
the energetic relationship that we have with money, and that's a learned skill to connect with money in an energetic way like that. That's something we can practice, and then
I love it.
Happen.
You know, you got to talk to creators about money, because money is like, it's an intrinsic system. And sometimes as spiritual people, I think we just like, we decide we have an allergy to money. Like we hate money because we don't like the power systems associated. We don't like the hierarchies that money creates. We don't like all these various things. And then we don't realize that we're cutting part of ourselves off, or we're like missing out on what's really our birthright for our gifts.
Yeah.
So super important.
Don't do that. Don't
do that. No, please embrace money, please, because we want you guys to have the money. That's why we're teaching you how to do business, is because we want you to have the money. And because we want you to get weekly massage and be happy.
To get what you
do your thing.
And that's one of the things that has come up a couple times on this podcast in different episodes. But the common thing with us woo folk is that money is evil, and that it's better not to have it. It's better to work at Starbucks and give your sessions away for free. And that is literally mathematically robbing the world of more of your gift. If you have to work somewhere else to make an income and do your gift on the side and share your deep work for free or for not enough money to support you, then you absolutely can't do it as often because you're doing something else with most of your time. So that doesn't make sense to me. If you're here to make a contribution in the world, you better be doing that, and that better be the thing supporting you so that you can do it as often as possible.
Yes. Listen to the creator preach on this one. That is what we do. That's right. Don't carve money out, because it is it's the method of exchange we've got right now, even though it's imperfect, as many human things are. It is our method of exchange. And sometimes I see like sales as a figure eight, like a lemniscate, where your client is in one loop and you're in the other loop. And there's just this flow. There's this easy rhythmic flow in between the two. And money is one of the flows. It's like one of the ways we flow. But the energy of that sacred agreement between us and our clients it's everything. Like that's what we're here to do. So letting it flow, letting them pay you well, also allows a lot of energy to go through you for them, right? It's like, it just opens the channel. It's part of the channel.
Yeah. And it allows people to get more out of their work. I noticed that at the very
Yeah.
beginning of my business, when I first started after joining Thrive, first
Mm-hmm.
started charging a little bit more or selling an actual package of sessions instead of just single sessions, that my clients were having greater results. So
Yes.
there was more
Yes.
impact and more of them choosing the change they were asking for when they had more skin in the game, that there is an aspect of that's
Yes.
really true.
I remember the first time I got a six-figure payment. Like, this client was like, I'm going to just send you this $100,000. I'm going to wire it to you. And I was like, actually, no, it was $85,000 she was wiring me, because she'd already paid me like 20. She was wiring me in one chunk, $85,000 to work with me for a year. And I was freaking out. I was like calling my mentor, and I'm like, "Oh my God, she's sending me this money. How could I possibly promise enough?" She's like, "Well, you already went through it with your guides, with her guides. You know what's going to happen with her this year." I'm like, "I know, but it's so much freaking money, and is it really okay that I'm charging this much money?" And she's like, "Mellissa, she's not paying for you. She's paying for the energy that's about to come through you."
Mm.
And she's a person of means, such that if she doesn't pay you this amount of money, she can't receive what's about to come through you. She's like, open up, touch your guides again, like listen to them. They're like, durr. I was like, okay, but I'm going to have to give a lot of this money away. She's like, I know. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? And then that client, after doing that year of the initiations work and the VIP work that I do sometimes with some high net worth people, she came into $6 million. And she's like, wow, that was such a great rate of return. And I was just like, holy crap. But that's, I got a little lesson there, like, about the system of money. Like, that's the investment that she made, opened the door for the energy to come through me. It's like she wasn't paying just for Mellissa. She was paying for what comes through me as a channel. And then that energy activated her, and then whoosh, now she's one of those people who goes around going, oh yeah, totally invest with Mellissa. It'll be 100-fold on your investment. I'm like, huh, okay. Like, in that spirit work. So the lawyer is still inside me going, how the hell is this possible? Are you duping this people? Like, no, this just keeps creating radical openings and goodness. And what do you know? Isn't that weird that it works? Like, for you, it's not,
Yeah.
maybe.
Isn't it weird that it works? Yeah, but it
Oh
does
my
work.
God.
And that's the magic of this reality. I mean, this universe is
This
that
dimension, whatever.
yeah. And I love that you brought just a hint of that up too, that even when you're playing at that level with a six-figure single client for a year, that there's still a slight bit of fraud patrol going on. Like, am I really allowed to
my
do
God.
this? Is this really okay? And yet, boom, there's proof that, yeah, that was what they needed and they got what they were hoping for, which is a radical shift in some way.
Yeah, it's so wild. I mean, we made her list of promises. When I work with people at that level, well, at any level, actually, we always list the promises, because I do believe and know and have experienced how when we set out the intentions, we kind of make a deal with God. We're like, okay, this is what we're investing in this year. I'm going to put all my channel into this. You're going to put your money and your time and your channel into this, and we're freaking making this happen. And she had this list that was like, my ego at the beginning was like, whew, I hope that all happens. My spirit was like, yeah, no problem. Also, we're going to do this. Like, I'm adding to the list through my spirit. My ego's like, okay, is this okay to promise this? And then, of course, at the end of the year, all of that and more had happened. And my spirit self again is like, well, yeah, that's what we said was going to happen. And my ego's like, I can't believe it worked. Frickety frack. I've been doing this for 20 years and it's still,
yeah, there is that ego human part of us that says maybe this isn't real. And what's beautiful is when it keeps reminding us. So we're reaching close to the end of this. I want to make sure that people figure out how to get their soul gift so that they can channel their genius and all of that. So how do people go and take the quiz, and what's the best way for people to get in touch
Yeah,
with you?
easy peasy way. You go to soulgiftquiz.com, SOUL, because it's of your soul, soulgiftquiz.com. And it's just 7 questions. It's like super simple and fun. It's got pictures to choose from, and it's really sweet. So go take the quiz. And then that also, of course, if you want to opt in, you can. You don't have to take my quiz, but if you'd like to opt in because you're interested, then feel free. And then I'll send you more on your results and what type you are. And we'll have this like conversation over email, and you can just write me back if you want. If you have questions, you want to talk or anything like that, you can just write me back.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what are you? You're Mellissa Seaman on Instagram. What are the best places for people to come and follow you?
Yeah, Mellissa, it's got 2 L's and 2 S's just to be irritating. Mellissa. And then it's SEA, Mellissa C on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm sure you'll see it in the show notes and stuff. But really, if you just take the Soul Gift quiz, soulgiftquiz.com, you'll be in touch with me. And I'm happy to connect you with any other resources you need in my little world over here. And definitely come back around. I'm going to be curious to see what goes on with the secrets of money and abundance that Molly's putting in. I'll check in about that too. Go to your creator if you want to understand how money works.
Yes, do. And I'm super grateful to have had you on the show, and we dropped some big magic, but I always like to end with, are there any last words of wisdom you want to leave people with?
Yeah, my words of wisdom are, don't be afraid of the next chapter. If spirit is like calling you for some new renovation of your life, your business, your identity, that's happening a lot right now. And just go for it. But go for it and get some support. You've got me, you've got Molly, you've got lots of us who really understand you and can help you when it's time to make a shift. And these are times of big shift. So you're not alone. My advice is go for it. Like, these are the times your soul showed up for. Come on and like do what your soul came here to do.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Mellissa. Thank you everyone out there for listening. If you want to know more, you can go to wildheartsriseup.com/podcast. You'll also find Reveal the Game of Life there, which is my other show. And make sure to check out Melissa's podcast, which is called Channel Your Genius.
Yep. Channel your genius.
Awesome. So go subscribe and rate and review that show as well while you're at it. And whatever happens, keep asking big questions and taking bold action, because you're here for a reason. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.